You see, if you follow up on that, because it's quite interesting and instructive that you just reminded us of 2000. It was one great moment for first-time watchers of the United States elections, seeing that Al Gore came up, I think, over 500,000 more votes, popular votes, than Bush, who ultimately became the president.
Yes.
And he was going to challenge that in court, and you recall how he also withdrew on that. Going by what we've seen now with the Electoral College, knowing that Clinton is already coasting to victory on the Electoral College, which is the ultimate deciding factor of the United States election.
Yes.
If it does go her way, and going by what Mr. Trump had said about his acceptance of this election, what do you think we're likely to see?
You mean just in case Trump...
Just in case Clinton becomes victorious, going by what we've just seen.
If Clinton becomes victorious, and Trump...
And going by what Trump had said...
Trump is not ready to accept the result of the election.
Because he's already said he won't.
Yes, he said he wouldn't. That would be a big problem. Because this one is a disservice to the concept of democracy. In the country that first practiced democracy in the world, what Trump is doing, he is likely to go to court. From what he is saying, from his threats, he's likely to go to court, and he will be humiliated there. Because you see, the points are very clear. You either win the Electoral College vote, or you don't become president of the United States.
You know, I'm excited about how you started, like Nigeria, like the United States, like Nigerian politics, like the US politics. All of a sudden, we're coming back to looking at Nigeria and how people accept or not even accept elections when it's all clear and dusted. Looking at what may happen, and he just might, first, there's an accusation against the media, which you also highlighted. Perhaps he has a thing or two that he knows about the media. That is why he's accusing the media. Perhaps maybe some have compromised on his way to where he is at the moment. If this goes to the courts, how does this affect, you know, the United States democracy? You know, sometimes they say when it's tested, it becomes stronger. But with this that we're getting to see with Trump and what may likely follow, do you think the U.S. wouldn't be showing some kind of example that a lot of people will be pointing at, especially back home here in Nigeria?
You see, if Trump carries out his threats, you know, he is not going to accept the result of the election unless he wins, which is a ridiculous statement. He is
why do you think it's ridiculous? Because he's out there to win.
How can you say you will accept the result of the election only if you win? I mean, that is ludicrous, more than ridiculous. It's ludicrous for somebody to say, I will accept the results only if I win. I mean, the issues are very clear. You either win the popular vote and or the Electoral College vote. If you win both, you are going to be president of the United States of America. If you win one and you don't win the other, in other words, if you win the Electoral College vote and you don't win the popular vote, you may still become the president of the United States of America. So the issues are very clear. For somebody to say he's not going to accept the result of the elections unless he wins, I mean, that's bad enough. That will definitely make Nigeria to be superior in terms of democratic values to the US.
Don't you think, Mr. Akiri, don't you think we should give it to Trump? He's quite popular. He's got a huge following, in fact, court following, to the extent that once he said he doesn't know who he's competing against, whether it's President Obama or Mrs. Clinton, because almost everyone got startled and really walked up by his popularity, to the extent that he came on the podium to campaign against him.
Yes, you see, the popularity we are talking about is just as a result of his stand on immigration. On immigration, he doesn't want, he will drive away so many people. He will gather millions of people together and begin to send them out of the United States of America. He is not going to allow Muslims to come into the country, contrary to the traditional values of the American people, and so on and so forth. That made him very popular, particularly among some white people. You know, so when we talk of popularity, it's limited to that. But from his utterances, from his body language, what he says and so on, he became very unpopular with so many people, including the president, the first lady, and every other, even members of his own party. Yes.
Do you think it was a deliberate ploy that he picked up just to gain popularity?
Well, I should like to, but he may have been thinking about these things before he became a politician, because he had never been a politician. He has always been in the private sector. He's a businessman. Now, he may have been thinking of these things, even in his own estates and so on. He didn't like other people other than whites. For example, he had a family estate, you know, and he refused black people to go into that estate and start living there. No, he would say, now, so he would give certain, two different conditions. The first condition is for the whites, and the second condition would be to the blacks. If a black man would come to that state, he would say, no, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this, before you can become a tenant in this estate. To the whites, it was smooth sailing. Now, so he has always been a racist. He has always been, you know, a chauvinist. He has always been a sexist all his life. He has always been a loose cannon all his life. So he has been this before he became a politician.
Okay, when you started out when we started this conversation, you talked about, you compared a little bit of what's out there and what's here in Nigeria.
Yes.
So let's maybe just bring it back a little bit.
Yes.
What can we draw from all of this in terms of the attitudes of the politicians and the parties that represent them?
You see,
or that they represent.
Yes, we're comparing the two, and they're very, very sweet. Because I could say today, I can stand very tall in any society today, even in America, and say we beat better than this country, than the United States of America. And in our own politics, you remember the last election in this country conducted in 2015. You see, where the president, even before the election finished, before the counting of votes, he came out to congratulate. The moment he saw that he was going to lose, he came out to congratulate his opponent. I mean, don't you see that is far and away superior to what's taking place in America today, where somebody, even before the election, said he was not going to accept the result of the elections unless he wins. In Nigeria, a sitting president accepted defeat even before the election finished. Now that compares, ill to what is happening in America today. In Nigeria, we talk of issues. We don't talk of personal details. We don't say nasty woman. I mean, that kind of thing. And begin to make noise and, cast aspersions on the personality of the other person.
Let's quickly bring a woman in now.
Yes.
Marpe.
Yes.